But hello and welcome to my first virtual open house. And I will turn the camera on myself very, very shortly. But I first want to dive into this and tell you a little bit about why I decided to do this. A virtual open house is basically like an open house you would go to if you go to see what a company is about, go see what a building's about, that type of thing. And so I just wanted to kind of introduce Suite369 and myself to you. Some of you know me, some of you do not. And I'm your host for tonight. You have to excuse me. Public speaking is like one of the things I hate doing the most, but I am pushing and challenging myself this year. So I am Ricky, otherwise known as Auntie Rick. It's a moniker that was given to me by people I worked with many, many moons ago. I am based in Atlanta, Georgia. I was born in New Jersey. I grew up in Bermuda, and I lived in New York for quite a while, for a little bit, not quite a while, just a little bit, but enough to really raise me. Um, I'm a mom of one who is getting ready to graduate from college in May, Mother's Day to be exact. And I help small business owners create amazing customer experiences through brand, web, and operations design and development. And my experience comes through companies and government organizations such as the Bermuda Department of Tourism, which is actually where I first learned how to use Photoshop. Mm, that was in 1992 ish. Bacardi International Limited, Bacardi Limited, those are two separate companies based in Bermuda. They are the headquarters, global headquarters of Bacardi Rum. And I started off in their operations department, responsible for moving tankers of pure, unadulterated alcohol to all of the plants around the globe. There's more than one bottling plant. Most of Bacardi's rum comes through Puerto Rico, but they have bottling plants in Canada, a few in Europe, one in South Africa, and there's probably a couple of others that I'm missing, but for the most part, um, Bacardi is where I honed my design skills. I learned how to move in between departments and figure out which functions affected other functions in other departments. I learned about internal and external customer service. Um, there's a whole bunch of things I learned from there. I cut my teeth in trademarks there, not officially, but because my desk was outside the office of one of the company's lawyers, and we got to have a lot of chats about trademark usage. In Atlanta, I got my feet wet again at V103 Atlanta in programming, and I was a midday radio show producer and intern for programming department. And I also taught computers and media at Kip South Fulton Academy while my daughter attended there and even after she left. I have a lot of experience and I draw on every piece of that experience when I deal with my clients. Um, Now at Suite369.com is where you find the brand and graphic design, web design, and operations development, and the educational tools and resources. Suite369.net is where you'll find domains hosting branded email, SSL certificates, site builders if you don't want a whole big full site. Because domains go hand in hand with someone starting a business or a product or an event that they want to full out brand. I just thought it made sense to sell domains and hosting as well. So that said, I'm going to move into the type of clients. I actually serve three different types of clients, and it's not based on the normal client avatar. It is based on the level at which someone is in business. So first you have entering, sorry. Um, most of my clients at this stage are thinking about starting or getting ready to start their first business. And they generally do not have managerial experience under another employer. Um, they're still learning and developing their brand message and building their audience. So I love working with entering business owners because it's all new and it's fresh and they're open and they're excited and they're ready to go for it. But for the most part, they don't have a lot of time to devote to developing the brand. They want to get right into the crux of what they're doing. They don't have a lot of money to spend on branding. And I actually discourage or let me put it this way, I actually encourage entering business owners to do their preliminary branding themselves. There's something a little different about once you do it yourself to start with, and you get a better understanding of what goes into building it. And so when it's time for you to hire someone else, you have a better understanding of those type of things, and you look at value proposition a little differently. So um, I have, or one of the solutions is if you don't want to spend a lot of money, I actually advise against spending a lot of money if it's just like your first entry into it, right? So you do something like get a pre-made logo and pre-made website layout and go with those. Those are a lot more economical. They're a lot faster to come up with. It allows you to look good while concentrating on building your business. So my second level of client or second type of client is actually the ones I work with the most. They're emerging. They've been in business at least 18 months or more. They're sick and tired of DIY now. They've grown past the stage of DIY. They start to hire out for out or outsourcing certain tasks. They've been doing this enough consistently that they start to understand their audience a little better. They may refine their niche, their target market, their messaging, all of that kind of stuff. They're actually more fun because, sorry, let me correct myself. They're not more fun. I enjoy working with the emerging client because um, although they're still new, relatively new in terms of big market, they've had some experience under the belt. They've had their aha moments. They've had situations that they had to deal with that they weren't really expecting, and they're still going for it. And now they're ready to take the next step. So it's a different level of excitement with emerging customers, clients. So now the emerging set of clients are now at the point where they know they need to make some changes um, and tweak the look of their brand and their online presence. They've just done all they can do on their own. So this is where I would say at the 18 months to 2-year mark kind of is a good time to work with a pro so that the way you operate and the way your customers feel about you is the way that your brand looks. And then there's my established friends. They've either been in business a while or they've had 5, 10, 15 years or more of corporate managerial experience from the mid to upper level management. Um, they may be getting ready to prepare for early retirement from their corporate job and are getting ready to set up for um, launching a business on their own to take them into this early retirement, or they may be starting a second business, or they may be experiencing growth in their current business that they need to hire out other aspects of managing their brand. They have an established audience as well. People know their name and um, they handle that pretty well, but it's time for them to expand. So the solution for my established friends is to work for with a pro to not only develop or refine the visuals for the brand, but to manage that web presence so that you don't have to spend time um, doing the mundane task of keeping your site up to date. You can focus on the actual business of your business and have someone manage the online presence website side. So, excuse me. My big goal for this year is to help at least 6 women of color move from emerging my emerging level to an established level, whether that's through their brand visuals, their websites, sorry, excuse me, or helping them to put processes in place and document their processes. And I have another big goal, and that's to help at least 60 women of color move from the entering stage to emerging. And I know that quite a few people who RSVP'd for this open house are still at the very, very beginning stages of entering. And some of you are still teetering between, am I going to do it or not? And so I'm hoping to include you among at least this minimum number I've said of for myself of 60 women for who's going to move from entering to emerging for this year. Oh my goodness, I cannot speak. What is going on? So if you know someone who fits into one of those 3 categories of clients, let's talk about referrals. Hit me on the email, hit me on social media. I don't generally give out the phone number. And that is because when I am working on a current project, I have to schedule my phone calls um, because I do batch process and I cannot um, pay attention to a telephone conversation and PHP codes at the same time. I've tried it, it's disastrous. So that's why I do not list my phone number um, publicly. But if you hit me by email, we can set up a time to talk if you want to, if you prefer to do it by phone. And the other thing is, I need to know how I can help you. Like, you've joined the mailing list for the loft that that I send out right now on Sundays. I want to know how I can help you. Like, I don't want it to be a one-sided type of relationship where I'm always, you know, I'm giving resources and I'm speaking at you, but like I really genuinely want to know how I can help you. And so that is the end of the presentation. However, I got through it. Yay! And I hope it's recording and I hope you could hear me. And if you have the chat available, drop me a question. in the chat, but if there's no questions, then I'll be calling this a day. And I appreciate you coming by. And enjoy your Valentine's Day. And I'm just going to leave it up for a few more.